more than 100 days since the people of Guyana went to the polls, and yet there is no declared result. From the very beginning, we have been clear and said consistently that every vote must count and every vote must be made to count in a fair and transparent way.
I'm very confident in CARICOM's ability and integrity. And I'd just like to repeat what the ambassador of Barbados to Washington said, that CARICOM is the most legitimate interlocutor on the Guyana situation. I'm inspired by that remark, and I share the sentiment that CARICOM is the most legitimate interlocutor on the Guyana situation. CARICOM was here before, as you know, and CARICOM is a reliable partner in our development. And they are as concerned and as competent as anyone else to do what they've been invited here to do. I invited 5 Prime Ministers: Barbados, Grenada, Dominica, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm obliged to work with the CARICOM team to ensure that we provide a satisfactory outcome to the challenges which were made to the elections of 2nd of March.
Regrettably, we have seen a level of gamesmanship that has left much to be desired and has definitely not portrayed our Caribbean region in the best light. This is definitely not our finest hour, and we must not shy away from that reality. The Caribbean community is concerned at reports that the Chief Elections Officer has submitted a report to the Guyana Elections Commission, which is contrary to the directions given by the Commission and which does not reflect the results of the recount process as certified by the very staff of the Guyana Elections Commission and indeed witnessed by representatives of the political parties. Indeed, these numbers and the certification of them were also witnessed by our CARICOM Observer team. They traveled to Guyana in spite of the pandemic and the risk to themselves, and they scrutinized the recount process. The CARICOM Observer team was of the unshakable belief that the people of Guyana expressed their will at the ballot box on March 2nd, and that the results of the recount certified as valid by the staff of the Guyana Elections Commission led to an orderly conclusion on which the declaration of the results of the election could and would be made. Therefore, we must ask, on what grounds and by what form of executive fiat does the Chief Elections Officer determine that he should invalidate one vote, far less over 115,000 votes, when the votes were already certified as valid by the officers of the Guyana Elections Commission in the presence of the said political parties? We must remind all that if there is any evidence of fraudulent or improper conduct, then there is a clear and well accepted route to deal with these matters. It is through an election petition to an election court. Any attempt to provide numbers different from those certified by the staff of the Guyana Elections Commission has left many in shock and wondering what next will happen to frustrate the will of the Guyanese people. The role and focus of political parties must be useful and not obstructive in embracing and promoting the clear and express will of the people. And when we confuse and frustrate that will is when we begin to sow the very seeds of discord and acrimony that we are sworn to dissuade and discourage. The community holds the strong view that no voter must be disenfranchised in determining the credibility of this or any election. It is this commitment to a fair and transparent political process that led CARICOM to send 2 electoral observation missions, one for the elections and one for the recount. In addition, 4 Prime Ministers accompanied me to talk to both sides and to urge patience, especially after the loss of one life. We thank you, the Guyanese people, for for that patience. As you await the finalization of this process, we urge again that you be patient and that you be committed to the fact that no electoral process can replace the life of any Guyanese, or anyone for that matter. There must be room for all, regardless of who wins and who loses. I assure you that the community remains committed to the people of Guyana and remains resolute that the report of its observer mission was very clear in its conclusions as to the will of the Guyanese people as reflected in the recount which they monitored.